Hello and thank you for being here today. I love sleeping in my own bed at night. I love waking up knowing that I am loved by my family. I love knowing that I am theirs and they are mine, and nothing can change that. It makes me feel so special and so lucky to have that, and I wish any kid could have that. This is why I think adoption is so important. The Adoption Network states that 1 out of every 25 U.S. families with children have an adopted child. According to the U.S. Census, about half of these have both biological and adopted children. There are about 1.5 million children that are adopted in the U.S., which sounds like a lot, right? But it actually comes down to 2% of the population. In other words, it's 1 out of 50 children, which is crazy. Around 140,000 children are adopted by American families each year. When I first saw this number, I was like, wow, that is a lot. 140,000. Wow. But then I began to think about how many children are actually in the world and how many are in need of loving parents and a home and health care and education. That is not a lot. 140,000 children that are adopted is not a lot. There's so many capable families out there to give the love and support to the children. So we need to raise those numbers. Adoption can lead to growth in many ways. It brings families closer, it is meaningful, and gives the adopted children opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have. I'm going to share 2 stories of adoption with you. One of them is my roommate Becca and her younger brother Sammy. Becca was born in Pittsburgh. She was the 7th or 8th child that her mother had. Becca was a twin. She has a twin sister named Abby. Twins mean twice the work. And she already had many siblings, so 2 more was just too much, I guess. Becca's dad didn't want to help out. He didn't want to support them, so they were put up for adoption. They were born in October, and they were adopted in February. That leaves them to be only 4.5 months old. The soon-to-be parents, the Zeisloffs, had to go through the adoption process like everyone else. And after the adoption process, they got Abby and Becca. Becca had the opportunity to attend church, have a childhood, have a family, know God, attend high school, and now attend college. She might have not had the opportunity to do that if she wasn't adopted. Now Sammy. Oh, Sammy. Sammy was found left on the side of the road in northern Ethiopia. Because he was found on the side of the road, no one knows his parents, his mom or dad. They don't know if he has siblings. They don't even know his birthday. That's just wild for me to think about, not knowing your birthday. The Zeisloffs went through the adoption process, and it failed multiple times. This was a really trying and hard time for them. They had to lean so much on God, and it took so much patience. But the Zeisloffs had to flew to Ethiopia, and they eventually got Sammy a week before his 1-year-old birthday. Sammy is now super smart. He's a 5th grader, considered a genius, and he is top of his class. Sammy is also really funny. Every time I go to the Zeisloff's house, he just never fails to put a smile on my face or kills me laughing. He can just stand there and do nothing, and I'm just like, I'm smiling, I'm cheesing so hard. It's great. Without Sammy getting adopted, Sammy could have went without education, healthcare, or he might have not even known God and the goodness of him. Sammy could have had nothing. A quote by Kira Mortensen says, God knew that it didn't matter how your children get to your family, it just matters that they get there. It doesn't matter if they are adopted or not. They're still deeply loved by you, and it doesn't matter if they had another mother and father that gave birth to them, but they're yours now, so they're loved by you. Impactful. Impactful would be one word to describe adoption. For some families, adoption is a passion, and for others, it is something God laid on their hearts. When God lays something on someone's heart, it is often not easy to take on. Going through the adoption process can be a struggle. It can be a long time, but it is helpful to always keep in mind that God has a purpose for the struggles and difficult times in your life. Adoption can be a very good opportunity to grow as an individual or even as a family. A lot of trust goes into adoption. It stretches you as a family as you face new and frightening challenges. And going through adoption with a family is tough because no one knows what to expect with the child they are adopting. But whatever happens, family is there for each other, and they get to go through it together by lifting each other up and trusting God through the process. If families are not ready to make the decision to adopt, or they just want to help a child during the adoption process, there are many sponsor programs that allow you to sponsor a child. Sponsoring a child provides them with food, shelter, clothes, and education. Sponsoring a child may not seem as a big impact like adoption, but it is extremely beneficial to them and their families. I always grew up going to Christian concerts with my mom, in my middle school years, and they would always take a break to offer to sponsor a child during their concert. And I would always just look up at my mom and be like, "Hey Mom, can I please sponsor a child? They really need it." And my mom would be like, "Not today, Chloe. We don't have enough money or something to do that." So I was just bummed all the time. And it got to the point where I didn't even have to look at Mom. She would just look down at me and say, "No." So I was so bummed. I eventually stopped asking because I was like, what's the point? But freshman year of college, who knew that I would be getting a sponsored child? I was able to get a sponsored child from Uganda, and I was so happy. I was like, I've been waiting my whole life for this, and it was so awesome. I loved it. I loved writing letters and just getting to know him and just knowing what he's been through and just seeing him trust God and everything. It's been such an impact. It has made an impact on me, and it's just awesome to see God working there. I wanted to inform you about the amazing and rewarding impact adoption can have on a family and the adopted child. Adoption can be the most inspiring and life-changing thing someone does in their life, and I hope this inspires you to consider adoption. Thank you. Hello, and thank you for being here today. I love everything. I should go back up to the top of my notes so I know what I'm talking about. Hello, and thank you for being here today. Eye contact. Come on, Chloe. Why did I do that? Okay.